he said to me. I was like, yes, Lord. Okay. Wow, my screen is really bad. Wow, I have a bad view. I have a bad angle. That's really, really bad. Like you can't see me, the glare. Oh, okay. Waiting when people have entered.
You can't go outside, you don't have a plug, right? I have an extension for you.
Look at that. I'm gonna name extension. Hello, guys. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Frankie. Hi, Adam. I'm gonna unmute everybody so we could just do quick shout outs. And then we're going to introduce Darrell and we're gonna get started. Well, Darrell, I'd like to call him Darrell because that's what it sounds like, but it's Darrell. I look really dark, so I'm gonna move around. Hold on one second. Hi, Frankie, how's it going, sir? Oh, Adam.
Hey, good, how are you? Can
So
you hear
everyone
me?
can talk, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Doing good. Hope everyone's doing well.
Yeah, so the next meeting we have in 2 weeks would be the one where we actually come to share, talk about who we are and all that stuff. Today's meeting is really focused on Darrell talking to us about pre-sales. We're gonna go right quickly into that. We're gonna wait for another minute or two for anyone else that is going to join us, and we're gonna get started because we're gonna be done by 1:30. So I'm not gonna worry about, I'll move around when he starts talking because my screen is really dark and I had a nice view going here, but that's not gonna work. Okay, welcome to our Flix Reps first class. We had about 7 students that were supposed to have joined us today. So I'm looking at 5, so maybe 2 more will join. And 2 of those ones joining actually have current film projects. So, or actually 3 more people that have film projects that should be on this platform today. All right, so Anthony, Frankie, and Adam are Flix Reps members that have decided to join us for our workshops. Darrell is a pre-sales expert, so that means he has a background in allowing the film to get to begin to see profit before it's ever created. So with that being said, I could read out of his bio, but I'd rather just get started. And that way I can take some time to text a few of my people. Some people missed the time. Some people have come into a chat early or too late because of time zones. So I'll text the rest of the class to make sure that they don't miss it. I'll mute myself. And if everyone can mute, Darrell is the one titled, his picture is titled Social Media Manager because he has a background in that. And it's really important. He's gonna talk a little bit about all those pieces that mean everything to you preparing yourself to actually sell your film before you ever produce it, or while you're preparing to produce it and you're in actual production, you can start actually seeing some dollars, or what we would call money backs for investors. So with that note, I hope I introduced you well. Darrell. Darrell's been in the game. His bio is quite extensive. We won't go into that today. If any of you need his information, bio, or anything to get to know more about him, we'll talk about that later in the end, so I can connect you via email to him so he can be a part of your project, and that you need someone like with his skill to be sitting at your table when you're talking about financing. Okay, it's 1:05. I know I said 1:10 is when I would allow him to start because I thought I'd probably talk a little bit more, but I will go ahead and let you guys, I'll mute. And Darrell, the show is yours for about, he'll talk for about 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll take Q&A. So this is not a class, it's a free workshop for you to understand distribution better. If you do want to take a further class with him, or you want him into a part of your project, then that's an additional discussion, and we can get you connected where he can take a look at your film and look at how he can help you with pre-sale and finance. All right, I will mute, and I'll turn off my my video so I can readjust myself here. And Darrell, welcome to the February workshop for FlixRep students and coaches. Thank you.
Give yourself a big hand. Give yourself a big hand. That was great. I really wanted, man, I really wanted you to read my bio. It's only 4 pages. My God, nobody reads my bio.
I
Like,
said
it's
to myself,
ridiculous.
which part of this would I read? Is it working with these people, these amazing people, comedian, this? He can sell your film all over the world. So it's not just to one place. And I know Frankie, we talked about getting your film worldwide distribution, because Frankie's film is in French, Spanish, all that. We're going to talk all about how that's valuable to creating how you're going to sell your film. But great job. I couldn't read your whole bio. No, I couldn't. 4 pages. But if you want it, you guys, I can get it out to you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's absolutely the truth. I mean, yeah, a lot of this information, you know, working with Chi-Chi, and you'll get access through emails and things like that. Most of the times when I do speak, I make sure I try to put the information in so you can kind of go back and look at it. But yeah, nobody, my bio is so crazy that like people get it and go like, whoa, this is ridiculous. This is like 4 pages. I'm not reading this. But the reason that is just piggybacking a little bit on, I've been in the film industry since 1988 as an actor. So the first film that I did was basically a $20 million film with Dennis Quaid and Winona Ryder. And I had no idea about any of the industry, none at all. I went to an audition because a friend of mine was a model. He was actually my roommate, so he was a model. I had already landed an acting contract because I just happened to go to an audition, and that's how I got thrust right into the industry immediately after high school. So I've been in the film industry since my first 7 months out of high school. All right, so that being said, the funny thing about that first film, it was Great Balls of Fire, was I saw the connection of the reason that you can do a $20 million picture is because these stories connect to humans and people around the world. So very early, I understood the fact that you're being thrust into an industry that connects people from just all economic backgrounds, all walks of life, all languages, if the story connects the people. And so, so I came in as an actor. All right, so I'm gonna flash forward to once I got to Hollywood, because I did the thing of where my acting coach was in a movie called, it was a Robert Townsend film called The 5 Heartbeats. So my acting coach mentor encouraged me to hit the bigger markets. So I had been working 5 years as a professional actor on 2 continents, performing, touring, doing like 8 shows a year. And I was still in my, I was barely in my 20s. And I had just gotten back from Paris. And he was like, you got to hit New York. You got to hit, he used to like, you got to hit New York. I was like, it's too cold. I'm not going to freeze and die in the cold. I'm going to go to LA because I love film anyway. So, so I've been doing film. One of my friends kind of took me under his wing, and that's how I got into understanding how the financing part works, because he ended up with a $25 million deal. And now literally at the time we were hanging out, he didn't have a car. He didn't have a car. It was basically going from, hey, I make $20,000 a year to, okay, here's a check for 25 million. And so that's the kind of money that was floating around in Los Angeles for certain projects. Around 2005, one of the comedians that I was touring with, his name was Cat Williams. It was around the time that Dave Chappelle decided to just take off, go to Africa. And so they kind of started switching those things that were happening to Cat Williams. And I was working with him at the time and his management and everybody. But I had already started writing script properties for my friends. So I wrote one for Cat Williams. I wrote one for Eddie Griffin. I wrote one for another friend of mine who was in American History X with Ed Norton. Now, I sent that out to 5 people. I got 4 yeses and an offer. And so we ended up dealing with NBC Universal, and I ended up turning down the offer because the attorney at the time told me to go learn how this works. I was about to sign over the rights to my entire film. It was the most money I had ever seen at one time, but my attorney was like, are you desperate for money? Because it's like, you need to really learn how much this is actually worth. So that's why I wanted to come on here today and work with you guys. I want to start by this. I'm pretty, first of all, everybody who's here, I would say a huge congratulations. I think 2020 was probably the most just disastrous time to be an independent filmmaker, financier in the industry. 2020 was just almost a catastrophe because people don't understand how our business works. And we are technically gig workers. We are technically people who fund, pay, set up our own entities, project. We're in charge of our own paycheck. And so most people and banks and politicians, they don't understand how our industry works. They don't understand how films are financed. So they just put us in they didn't put us in any category. And the fact that you made it and you're here, I commend each and every one of you. And I'm super excited and proud that you made it. And you're still in there getting on this call, getting in with people who can continue to help you propel and move forward. So that being said, I wanted to hop in and just say, if you have a project, the thing that I learned when I got into producing is every project that you're doing to a higher, there's almost no project that's not $1 million. And I know I talk to filmmakers all the time, and I talk to people who are trying to get projects or people who have ideas, and they don't understand the value of what they have. A lot of times we talk about pre-sales, but if you don't understand the value of, I'm gonna go back to a movie that's called Dahmer. Dahmer, I got pulled into as like an intern around the time when they were getting it off the ground. Dahmer was a film, they hired kind of an unknown Jeremy Renner. The producer and the writer met each other. He was like, hey, I got an idea for a film. And the guy was like, hey, I can put some money together. They came up with $300,000. And they ended up making a huge return on that project. But they started with a $300,000 line of credit. And so my mentor, a guy named Lenny Shapiro, the attorney who I mentioned before, he's one of the best attorneys. Everybody says they have the best attorney in LA, Beverly Hills, but like this guy was just voted last year like one of the top 10, like voted out of the industry as one of the top 10 attorneys. And so he's the one that introduced me to a guy named Lenny Shapiro, who was doing a master class on film finance and distribution at UCLA. Like they literally would grab him every couple of years so that he could do this. He's like a legend in the industry. So every time I went to deal with Lenny, he was like, hey, grab the kid. We're going to have lunch at Denny's, or we're going to lunch at Jerry's Deli. And I'd be surrounded with 20 producers who are doing movies from 25 million to 100 million. So two of the guys pulled together 300,000 and took a $300,000 project and turned it into a multi-million-dollar return. And while I was sitting at that table talking to some of these guys, one of the guys, he was like, I got to write this check real quick while we're all having lunch. And it was like $25 million. that's when I kind of transitioned from actor to I want to be the guy who can do the 25 million. So, so the value of what we have is based on what's called intellectual property. So I do say that most of the people that I do deal with, if they don't understand that that you're a millionaire, we're dealing on a 7-figure level. You are in that niche of people who are in the top 5% or 1% of people in the world, one, who actually go after and do what they need to do what they love, and also the financial wherewithal to be able to understand what's happening and benefit from it, not only once, but over and over and over again. These projects are your baby and they're your legacy. And I started understanding the intellectual property and asset management part of that. You got to understand how money works. You got to understand how to speak the language of money and pull a team around yourself so that once everything is in place, now you can go create. All right. So we're not trying to get you to the point where you're you understand how to put together 20, 40, $80 million projects on your own. It's the importance of surrounding yourself with people who know what they're doing, but also who believe in what you're doing. Almost every day, I'm surrounded by the things that remind me of why I'm in this industry. And one of them is like this little pink folder. It's not the folder itself, it's just that it's pink. Here's what I wanted to do. When I was a young actor in LA and seeing all these people with these Bugattis and people doing these crazy things with money, I said, you know what, I would love to be able to put together a $1 million fund to help people who want to go to college, help high school students who want to go to college. I said, we make a lot of money in this industry as an actor. I said, I'm going to put together something that I can give back. I want to give away $1 million. That was my why. And so I always wear something pink every day because it reminds me that I'm going to be giving away. Part of the proceeds from everything that I do go toward helping people who want to be educated and go after the things that they love to do. I went straight into the industry. I actually took college courses like UCLA and all those type of things because I went straight into the industry. I had to take all my learning as I was going. I learned how to set up a business. I learned how money works. I not only had a real estate license, I had insurance, basically anything that involved how to create money and understand it and manage it. I had those licenses. And so I'm able to communicate with investors. I'm able to talk to people, but my love came from the passion of acting and having the opportunity to travel the world, talk to people around the world, and share these stories. I love movies. I love movies. The first movie I got to watch that I could afford to watch was a movie called Roman Holiday. And I was already in my 20s. So imagine the first time you've been able to see a real movie was in your 20s. I have 9 brothers and sisters. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment growing up. So I remember when my dad spent $10 on a algorithmic calculator. He thought that was the most expensive thing he'd ever seen, but I needed it for calculus. So they bought it. They bought one. When I lost it, I had to do everything by hand. All those calculations. I still did good grades, but once it was gone, it's gone. They couldn't afford to get another one. So that being said, I'm about stories, people that are connected around the world, all languages, all colors, and movies. And, I think that kind of sums it up. I mean, I can break down a lot of the stuff about pre-sales and money and investing and all that stuff. I can't do it in 15 minutes. I do know that I can talk for an hour on movie sales and how that stuff works. 4 hours easy. I used to hang out with Lenny and these other guys, and we would talk for 20 hours straight about movies, like 20 hours straight about movies, distribution, how it works, who's doing what, all that stuff. It's ridiculous. At some point, people who are not in our industry, their eyes just glaze over and they just zone out. But Hopefully, I'm going to be able to work with you guys one-on-one more, or in a capacity that I want to see you succeed in what you're doing. And I love it. I love working with folks, and it's just an exciting industry. So that being said, I'm just going to kind of open it up to specific questions or specific. I'm at your disposal.
So I would like to pose a question. I think what I heard you say today is there are steps, right? There are steps to having pre-sales done. I know some of the films
Yes.
we received. So this great guy, I'm going to tell you guys what this great guy has done for us at Flix Reps. This great guy introduced me to somebody who's selecting certain full-length films from Flix Reps to go to Netflix. Some of your films that are full-length are going to Netflix. And he's watched a couple that he likes. I know I submitted orangutan to him, Frankie. So this is the kind of magic we're talking about that's happening. But imagine having the tool prior to making the film. So then you don't have to make the mistake because you have the team. Even if your film is only 20K, if it's 80K, if it's 100K, if it's 200K, it can be very well turned into 1 million because you have the right key people, and they bring in things like, and correct me if I'm wrong, lead cast, because a lead cast with the right name can turn your budget from a 20,000, 300,000 film to a $2 million film. The right A, B, or C actress or actor. So little things like that, and other tons of things that are very, very, he's experienced in it, are available if you have a small budget and you're saying, I have 30 grand, I'd love to take this 30 grand to maybe 150,000, or I have 150. I know someone that just joined Flix Reps. He has a film of 172,000. We're looking to help him turn that into, and I'm surprised he's not here today because he couldn't wait to get started. I think he just messaged me. Oh, well, yeah, join us. Okay, so what are you doing? Did you join the class? So I've got someone else who's got a full length. By the way, if you did a short and your short can be extended into a full length, Darrell's contact is willing to take it to Netflix. Because what happens is they look at your short as the trailer for the full length film. So some of you that have seen me online talking to certain people, Blind Tom is making a full version and 846 is making a full version. Those two films right now are going to be considered for Flix Reps for their full version, for Netflix for the full version. So that's the magic that's happening behind the scenes, but it takes the right team, right? And you guys are already started by being here and being a part of the team, because every month we're gonna have these meetings where we are talking to people who are connected to our platform, who, if you have a project, can take your project to the next level. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into questions from you guys about distribution. Frankie had great questions for me last week, but we've already submitted all of your films as members to a platform that can get us to other smaller platforms. Small films can't make a lot of money because you need to have ads run, but there are other creative ways we're thinking in the background, how to package a group of small films that have similar topics, what else we can do to enhance the growth of your small topic, and so forth and so on. So you have about 10 minutes to ask questions, and then we're gonna round up. The next time we meet is in 2 weeks. On a Sunday, we're gonna be doing an official meet and greet at that point. So you're gonna come and say your name, the project you have. So if you have a project, that's the meeting. We had one of those last month, beginning of February, where we all came. We took the time to mention who we are, our names, and the projects we have. And at that point, some teachers and staff will be here so we can just keep posted on what you have that you need right now, what you're seeking, and what we can help you do. And that's another 30-minute session that we'll have in about 2 weeks on a Sunday like this. So questions away for Darrell on distribution or
Scripts. It's like meeting with people. Do you have a script? Do you have an idea? What do you have? And then the second question people are going to ask is, well, who owns it? So even though let's say you write a script, do you own it? So I was reading something this morning with the Billie Holiday project that like Lee Daniels got financed. And there's a music company that